Official.StreetSmarks@gmail.com is how you want to contact us. Listen to us right here exclusively on YouTube, Street Smart Audio, or fuck with us. Official.StreetSmarks on SoundCloud and IG, Street Smart Fanpage on Facebook, Street_Smarks on Twitter, ECW Memories with the Goofs. This is the Extreme Retro Review for ECW, March 14th, 1995. 58 minutes, 54 seconds for those with the Tape Trader show. As Lord of the Flunkies, what was the time for those who watched this via the WWE Network?
Since Mad Jack Slater isn't here today, I'll go ahead and field that one. The time on the WWE Network for all my compatriots who made that wise investment and who are smarter than your average wrestling fans, the time was 45 minutes and 6 seconds. This was also Hardcore episode number 99.
And what were your thoughts of the show?
My thoughts on the show were there were some pretty great promos. If you wanted some new wrestling action, I thought Two Cold Scorpio versus Hector Guerrero was new, but apparently it happened at Return of the Funker, and it just blocked it out of my mind, and my apologies to Earth 37 and all the Two Cold Scorpio fans across the multiverse. So there were no new matches, but I thought it was great promos.
So we opened with the Public Enemy looking over a contract and generally acting like doofuses. Moving on. Joey runs down the show segments and throws it to Paulie, who's mocking Joey the entire time. He talks about Taz and Shooter's 6-month feud and Crippler hospitalizing Sabu because they won't give them a rematch for the tag team titles. So Paulie is goading the champs to sign a contract. His name isn't Paulie. The Public Enemy run up and immediately hit the human wall that is 911. Rocco says, "We didn't call 911. The Public Enemy apparently don't want no smoke. They're here just to get the signatures. Paulie looks over the contract for like 2 seconds, which kills my belief. Because Paul is a Khazar, and he didn't get his lawyer involved.
Oh, shit.
He signs the contract immediately and hands it back. The Public Enemy starts some shit. 911 says, "Make my day." And the Public Enemy respond by saying, "We seen that movie." 911 and Paulie powder. The Public Enemy got one down, and they need one more for the three-way dance. So the Public Enemy pulled Joey, who had powdered earlier before the segment moved, back into the spot. They frisk him up and down because he's a cutie pie. And ask him where the Crippler and the Shooter are going to sign the contracts. Joey explains the whereabouts of the Shooter by mentioning Two Cold Scorpio and Jason over the television title, and brings you up to speed with recent TV title events. Joey then throws it to the highlights of Two Cold Scorpio and Hector Guerrero from Return of the Funker. Recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review 111. It's set to whoop, there it is. They go back to Joey in the PE. I must note, the Public Enemy stole Joey's watch and wallet after they frisked him, and they even booked Paulie's phone. Joey cuts to a bumper of March dates. Moving on. We have a double table spot recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 107. Moving on. There's a phone line shield. Shane's being driven over one of the New York bridges, George Washington, Brooklyn, who knows?
Who cares?
He says, New York. So grand of a city that they named it twice. I said, why didn't he rhyme and say, so nice?
Oh, man.
What an idiot. He says, here he asks the ECW audience, what is he doing here? Is the franchise leaving ECW? $1.99 a minute to hear the scoop. Moving on. JoJo explains that the Public Enemy left to find the Crippler and Shooter, and they have a cameraman with them to capture anything that transpires. He then turns his attention to the Bad Breed split. Ian cuts a ridiculous fucking promo talking about the family history, blood, sweat, and tears, and it ends in blood, and blood. And Axel being a bastard that his mother never wanted. They show clips of the carnage that you'll never see unless you pay ECW Home Video for the fucking videos. And then it goes to an Axel Rotten promo. It's okay, but it's largely forgettable. Moving on. Pre-orders for Return of the Funker, Extreme Retro Review 111. Moving on. We have Joey at the Nest, and it's a segue into the Public Enemy beat up. Sabu and Taz losing the tag belts to the Crippler and the Shooter at Return of the Funker. I said LOL Pee-wee. We move on to March dates. Going forward, moving on. Joey's back at the Nest. He's frantic because the PE hasn't found the champs, but they did find Jason, the sexiest manager on earth.
Boss.
The Public Enemy tried to smooth talk Jason into signing the contract for the three-way, but Jason is too smart for that. So the Public Enemy hemmed Jason up and shoved the contract down his mouth. I ask you, Hot Stuff.
Yes.
What good is that going to do?
Very little. As a matter of fact, it's going to fuck up Paulie's signature.
The Pitbulls run in and jump the Public Enemy, beat him to obliterate. I said, great booking. Your thoughts?
That was great booking. And it was cool to see them remaining consistent with the Jason being the manager of Dean Malenko whole gimmick, because I was almost had forgot about that. I had mentioned it a few weeks ago and shit, because it had largely been unmentioned for a while. So I was glad to see that they hadn't forgot about it.
We have ECW Tag Wars 1994 for sale. Moving on. We have March dates to include the 17th and 18th. Moving on. Joey explains that the security separated the Public Enemy and the Pitbulls, and the Public Enemy have been removed from the building. They got their ass whipped and kicked out of their own house. Damn, son.
Yeah, that's fucked
Damn,
up.
son. We have a Pitbull promo from the locker room / fight scene. Jason wants to know who the Public Enemy think they are, putting their filthy hands on him, trying to ruin the suit of Jason, the sexiest man on earth.
Boss.
The man who controls the giant,
Oh my God.
the shooter, and the animals who kicked your ass out of your own house.
Oh boy. He'll get 2 more midgets and he'll be the manager of the Mighty Ducks.
Number 2 is standing in the background like a complete G. And while number 1 cuts a maniacal promo. I said this shit takes me back to 1994 during his TV title run, and Pitbull would just yell random shit at the camera. Shout out to 1994 Fooge. You get okay.
Well, you did better than 93, Fooge. I'll give you that.
Jason will grant the signature this Saturday. They just have to beat the Pitbulls to get it. Number 2 says, won't happen. Number 1 talks again, saying after they beat the Public Enemy, they want a shot at the champs. Because they're the best. They are the Pitbulls. Jason ends it by saying, rockabye this, baby. Your thoughts on the promo?
Oh my gosh. Pitbulls came off as legit badasses. So after them looking like bumps and taking the L to 911 and all that little down streak they were having, it's nice to see them being relevant in the tag team scene again and shit. And it's cool that Public Enemy has to go through them to get the tag titles. I think it's a foregone conclusion that they lose, that them being the Pitbulls,
but at least the booking is super tight at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
He is not missing a beat. Shout out to Paul. Shout out to Paul. Joey sums up the exchange for those who are actually sane watching ECW at this point. We go into a March bumper. Moving on. ECW home video has When Worlds Collide for sale. Recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 64.
You're welcome.
We have a Funk's Grill returning to the phone line next week. $1.99 a minute, 99 cents each additional minute. Moving on. We have Joey to wrap up the show. He talks about March 18th, and he throws it to a Promo-rama to end.
Indeed.
We have a Shane and Cactus Jack promo. The franchise says that he's a wrestling historian, and history says that on August 27th, Terry Funk no-showed the Niggas with Attitudes title tournament.
Like a bitch.
Recounted by us, Extreme Retro Review number 83. So Shane turned into the anti-monitor.
Yes, he did.
And killed the NWA.
Oh man, this is my turn. I can't wait.
He wiped out all the people he never liked anyways. That includes Terry Funk. Or didn't include Terry Funk. He thought you could get women to seduce him and join up with Terry Funk.
Nice try.
He hates Terry Funk.
Me too.
He hates everything that Terry Funk stands for.
Oh, I'm with you, Shane.
He's a hanger-on.
Oh, preach.
He's a relic.
Yes.
It's time for you to retire, Terry Funk.
Amen, Shane. Amen.
You're an old man.
Yes, you are.
The franchise created Extreme Championship Wrestling. What the fuck does he look like to join with the likes of you, Terry Funk?
That's preposterous, I know, right?
Cactus Jack settles the franchise down, and he cuts his promo. Cactus has a different take on history. Funk no showing August 27 shows what a hypocritical son of a bitch Terry Funk is. And now he's got to pay the price. He fantasizes and finishes by saying that Terry Funk doesn't have a liver. Your thoughts of the promo?
I thought it was exquisite. Like, it felt like when I used to be real heavy into going to church and shit. And like every now and then, like I would get hyped for a sermon and shit. It was a religious experience, just listening to Shane just echo the very sentiments that reverberate through my very core when it comes to Terry Funk and shit. And I couldn't have put it more eloquently than Shane put it when he nailed to a T the type of person that Terry Funk is. And Cactus Jack is 100% spot on. He is a hypocrite. He is a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I have made it my life's mission to clean up and to finish what Shane started. He destroyed the NWA not only am I going to destroy and rebuild the multiverse in my image, I am going to destroy and erase from the very existence Terry Funk. Terry Funk. Terry Funk. Terry Funk.
So we have woman with the rebuttal response promo. She holds up 4 fingers, and I must note, the index ratio checks out.
I told you she was a woman. I told you.
I'm still on the fence of Mancy.
But you nailed it before where you said she never took a bump and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Shane
R.I.P.
is a wannabe for wanting to be a horseman. She says that the triple threat will go down. Sandman asked Cactus Jack, can you even trust Shane Douglas at this point?
No, that was intriguing right there. That was nice.
Terry Funk ends it by saying that Cactus Jack ain't shit compared to the legacy of Terry Funk and the Funk family. He promises he will whip Cactus Jack like a dog.
There was a lot of cussing in these promos. I was wondering if how Sports Center felt about all those beeps and shit. But nevertheless, Terry Funk is the most insincere, the most untrustworthy, the most unflattering, the most disgusting, the most vile, the most reprehensible, the most he's a disaster. He's a piece of crap. You know what I'm saying? He is the embodiment of like a human shell filled with vomit and shit. Like shit that you expunge from your mouth because it is too intolerable for your body to even digest. So you must regurgitate it from your very system so you can continue to live. That's what we need to do of wrestling and the timeline. We need to regurgitate Terry Funk from this reality and from all reality.
I had an earlier conversation with the Hwoud from Earth 73.
Okay.
Like Doofus Hollywood, he actually loves Terry Funk.
Wait a minute, Doofus Hollywood likes Terry Funk?
Yes. Whereas
He is a doofus.
Hwoud hates Terry Funk. And he asked me this question when he recounted on this episode of Extreme Retro Review. And he asked, could Sandman even trust Terry Funk?
Of course not. And that is a very intelligent question from Earth 73 Hwoud and shit. You know what I'm saying? He's, you know, I'm starting to feel bad he's stuck with a Doofus Hollywood, but even a Doofus Hollywood is better than 50% of Hwoud. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't, you know, he's fortunate to even have a Doofus Hollywood. Some Hwoud just don't even have a Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? And they're just out here in the multiverse struggling. Just floating aimlessly out here on, you know, on this plate or whatever we're on and shit. And, you know, but I digress. He's a very wise man, and the Sandman should not trust Terry Funk. By no means, by no hook, by no crook, and I hope that he plans on backstabbing him somewhere down the road before Terry Funk does it to him.
Overall, great booking, great character motivations, and great promos. Great use of Return of the Funker. Benoit starting to get a stranglehold on March.
Oh, nice. Oh, man. Oh, man. Nice.
So I give this show, which I now dub Angle Mania, a thumbs up.
Oh, man.
Next week, March 21st, 1995. Until then, we out. Peace.
Peace.